Hello, class. So I've gotten a lot of questions about the benchmark that is due tomorrow. So I decided to make this video to kind of help address all those problems. It's way too many different people asking to me similar questions for me to actually get through all of them. So I'm hoping this video is effective. So let's go ahead and get into it. So just like what I talked about 6 weeks ago, um, I'm just gonna run right through each of the benchmark parts and kind of talk about it. So first things first, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to find the style guide template, which is right here. Okay, and then to do some of your statistics stuff, there's already the master template that is here. Now, for those of you who've asked about, okay, what if I get a high similarity report? So here, two things. On the one end, if what is making your similarity be so high is the actual content of the style guide template, which I'll show to you really quick. Okay, so if anything that is on this template is coming up as copyrighted, that is okay. What is not okay is if your explanations here um, are coming up as copyrighted. So that will get you in some academic troubles. But we are good if this part or the stuff that's already in the template is coming up as copyrighted. You can't help that. I can't help that. That's there. But if your actual responses are coming up as copyrighted, then you need to fix that and actually use your own material. Okay? Now, let me walk you through the parts. Okay, so for question one, this every time you see a hashtag, they are talking about your student, the last digit of your student ID number. Okay, for parts A, B, and C, the once means that you've done the experiment one time, and then let's say my number is 4. So if my number is 4, so that's going to be 4 plus 2, not multiplying, but plus 2, which would be 6, right? So now I'm going to run the trial 6 times. And for part C, I'm going to run the trial 8 times, okay? So you're not multiplying, you're adding, okay? Again, you need to look at the tips and hints. That will help you out a lot. But you make sure you're using the formulas that I gave you about 6 or 5 weeks ago on the central limit theorem. Okay, I've already talked about this in class, but if not, you can look back at topic 4 and 5 to look at the central limit theorem, or you can Google it, or you can look inside the textbook. If you don't have a physical copy of the textbook, it is provided in class. If you look in the course materials, or is in every single one of the topics here, you can look in study materials and essentials of statistics, and there it will bring you to the textbook, and you can do Control F or whatever you Mac people do to find the central limit theorem in the textbook. Okay, let's go back to the project. All right. So for question number 1, for parts A, B, and C, you're going to draw out your distribution with the curve, and then you're going to copy and paste it into the Word document template. And for each of those, you're going to explain to me. Now, remember, the key things I want to look for is you're explaining to me, how does the standard deviation affect how my data will look and the way my normal or my curve looks? Okay, so I'm going to be looking for that. Now, for question number 2, it's going to be just like those questions where a certain amount that are positive and a certain amount that are negative or false positives, and you got to do a little simple math to figure out the other numbers. Now, once you figure those out, you're going to answer questions A through D here for question number 2. Okay, this is typically the easiest part of the project compared to last semester's. Now, for part number 3, or sorry, question 3, here you're going to be a little creative because you're going to be telling me how you would set this up yourself. Now that we talked about how to test claims, right? And so if we look back, this information or this topic will greatly come from 8.3, which either you can watch my video that I've already posted in class, or you can look at my notes, or you can also Google and look on YouTube or in the textbook how to test a claim about a mean or a population mean. Because notice my parameter that I'm testing, and I'm just going to give it to you, your null is going to be when mu is equal to 140. Okay, so you need to set up the alternative. Now you're going to get your alternative hypothesis from question number 1. Okay, so now that we've done questions 1 and 2, in question 3, you're going to actually come up with how you would test for your hypothesis. So for part A, you'll detail the discussion of your experiment, so how you would set it up for these trials. B, you would how would you randomize? So you may have to look back at some other. You may have to look back at topic 1, where we talked about sampling methods to be order to come up with your how you would select your sampling. For part C, you look at inferential tests utilizing your experiment. So again, what tests you would need to use. And then for D, a formal statement of the null and the alternative. So there you'll literally just state mu, my null or H naught is mu is equal to 140, and then you do mu is whatever you're going to be testing for and whatever your number is, depending on the last digit of your student ID number. And then E, you're going to find the confidence interval for estimating that parameter. Again, use the template to do that. That should be the top part of the template. And then for F, you're going to interpret your p-value and in your confidence interval, including what that means in context of your experimental design. Is there enough information to reject the null, or is there not enough information to so then you have to fail to reject, right? So we've already talked about everything that you'll need to be able to actually do the project. I really do believe in you. You can do this. If you have any other specific questions than that, please reach out to me. But I really am hoping that this video is very helpful. And now that we've walked through it, it should be more digestible. Okay? All right.